What in the mumbo jumbo is this? This is our brand new colorful iGame RTX 5080 and this is your average looking motherboard, guys. I mean, what? Today I'm like super duper excited because I just got my hands on a Behemoth class GPU. Lately I've been getting so many comments asking me to cover colorful RTX 5080, guys, and for you guys only I got my hands on colorful iGames all new advanced OC RTX 5080, and as I've shown you just now, this is a massive GPU, guys. I mean, the size is crazy. So today in this video we're gonna unbox it, do my detailed review and do lots of benchmarks and testings, guys. It's gonna be super interesting video, so make sure to watch it till the end. So boys, our brand new RTX 5080 from colorful iGame came in this sort of packaging, and as I've told you, this is the advanced OC edition featuring 16 gigs of GDDR7 memory. Came in this sort of packaging, and I do have to mention that is one very big box, guys. I mean, look at this. You got the colorful iGame branding everywhere, picture of the product as well on the front, and going to the back side here you can check out all of its main highlights and details, which we'll anyhow talk about once we get started with the unboxing. So without wasting any more time, let me quickly grab my knife, tear this outer packaging, open the GPU and show you how it looks like. So on the inside you get one more box packaging and it says advanced along with a GPU outline at the top side, and as soon as you open it we get some accessories over here. You get a user manual. Just make sure to read this for all the details on how to install and set it up. Apart from that, you're also getting a free included screwdriver for the installation, guys. Definitely appreciate these sort of freebies from the brand. And finally, guys, about time we got our hands on the GPU, and my god, look at the size of this thing. Oh wow. We'll just come back to the GPU in a moment. Keeping that aside, you also have some other accessories over here, which includes a free metal support stand for the GPU. Obviously it's a massive GPU, right? Lastly, you're also getting some cables which include a RGB header to basically sync the lighting on the GPU with your overall system, and a GPU power connector. So that's it. Keeping that aside, now let's finally move on and get our hands on colorful iGames all new RTX 5080 advanced OC edition. Holy mother of tech. Now this is what I'm talking about. That is one massive sized RTX 5080, guys. I mean, look at the thickness of this thing. Initial impressions, I do have to mention, it looks like a Behemoth class GPU. Anyways, Colorful's iGame Advanced OC RTX 5080 is a triple fan card and has a beautiful design, guys. I mean, look at this. You're getting Axial Tech fans on the front side, red accents here and there, iGame logo and says advanced on the front side. So this time Colorful has went for a unique sort of look. They're calling it as black translucent creative design, and in fact the whole body has a see-through sort of look and feel. I mean, look at this. From the body you can actually check out the whole internal side, the heatsink, the GPU frame structure and everything. And not only that, in case if you've not observed, you're also getting a beautiful starlight RGB lighting at the central fan area over here, which will automatically power on and is also like fully customizable, guys. Can even be synced with your entire PC lighting as well. Going to the top side, here's how the GPU looks from the side profile. You got the GeForce RTX branding, mentions advanced OC on the right side, and boy oh boy, look at that heavy block of heatsink. On the right side there's nothing much over here, you just have the iGame branding. And talking about the overall build quality, top notch build quality is what I can say. It's like a mix between metal and polycarbonate and definitely gives you that premium look and feel for the price that you're paying. Colorful's iGame 5080 Advanced OC comes with a beautiful metal backplate and also has like a cutout on the right side with the iGame logo over here. So there's plenty of room for air circulation and airflow to keep the card running cool. And also, if you can actually have a closer look at the backplate, right, you got nice tiny details and highlights mentioned here and there. I mean, look at this. It mentions the X bracket, screws and stuff like that. Not to miss out, the Advanced OC variant actually comes with a one-click OC solution, guys. So if you leave it as it is, right, you're running at the normal clock profile and simply click on that to access Turbo OC clock profile. Simple push of a button OCs your GPU. So that is pretty much it, our complete overview on the design and build quality part. Keeping that aside, now let me tell you about the actual hardware specs and configuration of this RTX 5080. As I've told you, these 50 series cards are based on Nvidia's all-new Blackwell architecture, features 5th gen tensor cores and 4th gen ray tracing cores, not to miss out new streaming multiprocessors as well. Combine all of that with a much faster GDDR7 memory. So today in the home we have the RTX 5080 that comes with 16GB GDDR7 memory. If you ask about the CUDA core count, that is roughly around 10,752. If you ask about the core clock frequencies, the base clock frequency of this GPU is 2295 MHz, but as I've mentioned, you do get like one-click turbo OC clock frequency with up to 2670 MHz. Okay, enough with the spec sheet guys, let's actually put this GPU to a test and see how does it perform in real world benchmarking. Now since 5080 is like a top tier card, obviously I'd like to pair it with something powerful only, right? That is the reason I'll be using Intel platform this time. We'll be going for Intel's Core Ultra 9285K, which is a 24 core 24 thread monster CPU, offers like decent gaming performance, and we'll be pairing this with like a 32GB DDR5 RAM clocked at up to like 6400 MHz guys. So that is basically a gist of all the components we'll be using for the test bench, and without wasting any more time, let's quickly get into the gaming benchmarks. We'll be playing variety of AAA title games, and in fact I've added some brand new AAA titles like the recently released Spider-Man 2 as well, and we will be playing all of these games at 4K resolution maximum graphics preset. I mean obviously 5080 guys, nobody is gonna be using this card for 1080p level gaming, right? Pretty basic I would say. And we'll be doing different sort of tests. Like in the first clip we might not be using any NVIDIA technologies because I want to show you the raw rasterization performance, right? Later we'll also include NVIDIA technologies like DLSS 4 multi-frame generation and see what sort of improvements it will bring to the card. And we'll also be doing a bit of comparisons as well with the previous 40 series cards as well, so make sure to watch it till the end. First of all, we've got our all-time favorite Cyberpunk 2077 running. We are playing this game at 4K resolution, and that too at very high graphics preset, everything maxed out. And in this first particular test, as I've told you, we're not using any NVIDIA technologies, no ray tracing, no DLSS 4.0, no frame generation as well. And as you people can see, on an average we were getting around like 60 to 65 FPS, which is pretty consistent I would say guys. I mean without any sort of upscaling or frame generation technology. Quickly enabling ray tracing at the same preset, keeping DLSS and FG off. Here are the results. Roughly we were getting around like 30 to 35 FPS, not bad I would say considering ray tracing is pretty taxing on the GPU. But wait until you see when I enable DLSS 4.0 and multi-frame generation. So these are some brand new technologies introduced by NVIDIA alongside the 50 series launch. DLSS 4 brings something known as Transformers model guys, which is completely different than your convolutional neural network. So previously on the older gen DLSS, right, maybe either DLSS 2 or DLSS 3, whenever you were using like performance or ultra performance profiles, we used to get a bit of artifacts, ghostings, or some sort of glitches when you're doing like fast movements in the game, right? So that has been greatly improved in the DLSS 4 transformer model. And multi-frame generation is an upgrade to the already existing frame generation. So previously frame generation technology used to artificially create like a single frame in between two adjacent frames, right? Now multi-frame generation is capable of producing 3 to 4 artificial frames in between adjacent frames guys in the game. So that greatly boosts the frame rate by up to 3 or 4 times depending on the preset you're choosing. But one thing you do have to keep in mind is these technologies are brand new in the market and not all the games support them. For this, make sure you're running on the latest NVIDIA drivers, update the NVIDIA app as well, and simply open the app guys and click on the game that you want to play, and here scroll down, you'll find something called as NVIDIA DLSS override preset. Click on that and you'll find a big list over here. Different presets are there from A to J. Make sure you're selecting latest, which will enable preset K guys, basically DLSS 4 transformers model. And in the frame generation also, right, override it and select either 3x or 4x depending on the target frame rate you're looking at. Say suppose you have a 144 Hz or 180 Hz monitor, right, 3x would be better for you. Or maybe if you have like a 240 Hz monitor, right, 4x would be best for you. That will offer you like a consistent results. So right now I've set it to 4x multi-frame generation, and there you go, bam! Now that is the kind of difference I'm talking about. Where was 60-70 FPS on an average at 4K high graphic preset, and now with the help of multi-frame generation we were getting around like 230 to 240 FPS, that too with ray tracing enabled at 4K. Mind-blowing results is what I can say. I do agree they're all like AI generated fake frames, but still the smoothness that you're seeing on the monitor, right, it is definitely visible guys. I mean you can feel it when you're playing, so that definitely works. Moving on to the next game, Spider-Man 2, which recently came out in the market, and I do have to mention puts a lot of load on the hardware. So we'll be playing this game also at 4K resolution, very high graphics preset. And in this first test, all NVIDIA technologies like ray tracing, DLSS, frame generation, everything is turned off, and and on an average we were getting around like 70 to 75 FPS. Pretty good results, I would say. But wait until I enable ray tracing and DLSS 4 transformers model. So quickly enabling that, there you go. Now this is what I'm talking about. At 4K very high graphics preset in Spider-Man 2, we were getting around like 120 to 130 FPS, guys. When Nvidia announced their 50 series cards, showcased their Blackwell architecture, GDDR7 memory and all of that, I was very hyped and was like excited to see what sort of performance gen to gen uplift we will see compared to the previous gen. But after getting my hands on the 5080 and testing out different games, right, the gen to gen performance uplift compared to the previous 40 series card, it's not that big, guys. I mean, if you compare the 5080 with the previous gen 4080, when playing the same games at 4K resolution and very high preset, right, the difference was around like 16 to 18%. And if you compare it with the 4080 Super, then the difference is like very minimal. 5080 was only around like 7 to 8% faster than the 4080 Super at stock settings. And that too, I believe the main reason for this slight performance improvement would be 5% increased power consumption, because the 5080 has a TDP rating of around 360 watt, whereas 320 watt on the 4080 Super, slightly increased CUDA core count and a bit slightly faster GDDR7 memory. More than the raw rasterization performance, Nvidia this year is only showcasing like AI performance upgrade. I mean, include that DLSS 4 multi-frame generation and all of that. If you count that, right, obviously you're gonna get like huge improvement, but as I've told you, it's all done using AI, guys, not like the raw real hardware performance. So if you already have like a 40 series card, maybe like a 4080 or 4080 Super, upgrading to the 50 series wouldn't make that big of a difference. But unlike that, if you're coming from a previous gen, say maybe 20 series or 30 series, right, maybe like a 3060 or 3070, directly to 5080, you will be blown away by the results, especially when you enable multi-frame generation in gaming, right? It's gonna change the whole gaming experience for you. So all these benchmarks we've been doing in the video, right, they were done at the turbo OC clock frequency, and out of the box only, if you people can actually see at the CPU stats, the GPU clock frequency was running at almost like 2850 megahertz. But what if I told you you can get even better performance results? So during the past couple of days, what I've observed is Nvidia's RTX 5080 supports like insanely good overclocking, guys. And this particular card, the colorful iGame RTX 5080 Advanced OC, can be pushed up to 300 to 400 clock frequency, giving you a total of around 3100 to 3200 core clock frequency. Pretty awesome, right? And despite this OC, as you people can see during the testing part, the card was actually running quite stable with improved performance. I mean, look at this quick comparison. Previously in our gameplay testing, the clock frequency was roughly around 2850 megahertz, right? Now with OC applied, we were getting almost like 3150 megahertz, guys, and even goes up to like 3200 megahertz also. No sweat at all. So with the help of OC, we were getting around like 12 to 15 FPS higher frame rate, bringing it much closer to the RTX 4090 level of performance, guys, slightly just behind that. So we can actually squeeze out quite a bit of performance out of this card. My only question is, if 5080 had that sort of potential and could do it very easily, why didn't Nvidia do that from the factory itself? Would have made things much easier for gamers, right? And people would have actually appreciated this sort of performance. I mean, look at this, pretty impressive results, I would say. And despite overclocking the card, thermals were actually quite stable. Even with the OC applied at around 3000 megahertz, the card was running super stable and quite silent, with the maximum thermals reaching only around like 60-61 degrees centigrade, guys. And if you remove the OC, the card was fluctuating around like 57 to 58 degrees centigrade most of the time. Colorful has done a really good job with the thermal solution on their advanced OC RTX 5080. Kudos to the team. My only complaint with the 5080 is that limited VRAM memory, guys. I mean, come on Nvidia, this is almost 2025. On the previous gen also you are offering 16 GB VRAM, and here also you're getting 16 GB VRAM. They should have at least offered like 20 or 24 GB of VRAM, right? My only hunch is maybe in the near future Nvidia might be dropping their 5080 Super or 5080 Ti, and that might come with a 20 or 24 GB VRAM, guys, you know, which sits in between the 5080 and the 5090. And lastly, talking about the pricing details, the new 5080 is roughly going to cost you around like 1.3 to 1.4 lakh rupees, and totally depends on the model and the variant. Let me know your thoughts as well in the comment section down below. I'd love to read your thoughts. So that is pretty much it. Time to wrap it up. I hope you people enjoyed watching this video and got to learn a lot. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel for more such awesome videos. And I'll see you all in my next one.